Hello and happy Valentine's Day, horse lovers. If you love both horses and romance, I found a horse series I really think you'll enjoy, and that's the Pine Mountain Horse Park series by Isla Ryder. I just have to say, how perfect is that name for someone who writes horse stories, Ryder? Now, each story is individual, so I don't know necessarily why they're considered a series, because none of it overlaps, but each book in this series is wonderful. The first one in this series I read was called Show Ponies and Single Dads. This story starts with single dad Aiden. Now, unlike a lot of divorce stories where you hear how one partner was terrible to the other, or there was some major fighting, something going wrong, in this case, Aiden and his ex wife simply drifted apart. They remained on good terms, but tragically, his ex wife died shortly before the start of this story. He wants to make things as good as he can for their daughter Olivia. And the thing that matters most to Olivia is horse shows with her pony Wonka, which I gotta say, I love that pony's name. Kind of funny though, him being a gray pony. You would think Wonka would be like a chocolate colored pony, but in any case, it's a cute name and he's a cute pony. I gotta love Olivia's relationship with him, and she is looking forward to this show so much, and her dad is trying everything he can to make things the way that his ex-wife would have made them for her. And he's wondering how did he always make things so perfect for Olivia. And he's trying to go through the routine, and Olivia's like, "Well, did you remember to pack this? Did you remember this? Are we going to eat here for breakfast? Because that's always our tradition." And even though Aiden always showed up for the horse shows, he wasn't really part of getting ready for them. And he's like, "Oh my god, I should know all this stuff. I'm a failure as a father. Olivia's going to hate me." And they go to the show, and she ends up taking the jumps in the wrong order because that's the order he helped her memorize because he didn't understand the jump course. She gets disqualified, and her trainer chews Aiden out in front of everybody, making him feel about an inch high absolutely terrible. Well, a woman named Molly happens to overhear this. She's a teacher and makes extra money by braiding the horse's manes at shows. If you've ever been to a show, you know there's a lot of preparation work involved with the horses. So anybody who owns a horse is glad to say, "Hey, I'll pay you a few bucks, braid my horse's mane for me." Well, she overhears this and she feels terrible for poor Aiden. And she goes up to her and says, "Hey, what your daughter's trainer did was completely uncalled for." And she said, "I'll tell you what, here's my phone number, even though I've never met you before. And if you want to learn more about how horse shows work, give me a call and I'll show you the ropes." And he actually follows through on that, even though he's debating with himself. And they start to grow closer. They even get more close when Molly has a bit of a housing problem. The apartment she rented comes down with a serious case of mold, which is incredibly disgusting health risk. She just comes home one day and finds a sign on her door saying, "Yeah, we've had an eruption of mold. Landlord will pay for you to stay at a hotel for a few nights while we get this fixed." And things get even better when she gets another message from her landlord saying, "Yeah, we've decided we're just going to bulldoze the place. Have fun finding a new home." Yeah, I gotta love the landlord, right? Well, Aiden happens to own property, and he's like, "Hey, I moved into my ex wife's place after she died so I could have familiar settings for my daughter. I haven't sold the other place yet. It's close by, be perfect for you. Why don't you move in there?" Which she does, and of course, that starts them growing even closer. The major hang up is he's worried about how Olivia will take this. Because, of course, she loved her mother, and he doesn't want anything to spoil his relationship with her or to come between the memories of her and her mom. And it's hard for Molly because she wants to get closer, but she respects that. There's some really great moments where they date but don't date. it's really sweet how the relationship develops, and when they finally do get together, everyone is like, "What took you so long?" Especially Olivia. When he finally does decide he's going to get together with Molly and make things official, he calls his parents and he's like, "Hey, could you watch Olivia for the night? I'm finally going to be spending some time with Molly on an official date." And they're like, "Molly, finally! Olivia's been talking about her all summer." And he's like, "Olivia's been talking about her?" And they're like, "Yeah, she can't wait for the two of you to actually get together." He's like, "Oh, okay, that was never going to be a problem after all." It's a really sweet story, and the one flaw I have with it, it's not really a flaw, but if you're reading it solely for the horse part, there isn't as much of that, but it's still a wonderful romance. Doesn't need to have as much horses. It's just a great story even without that. Now, if you're looking for something with more horses, the next one might be a little more to your liking, although I think you'll absolutely love both books that I've read so far in this series. The second book that I've read is called Second Chance at the Water Jump. As much as I love the first book I talked about, I love this book even more for its strong message of body positivity. We start out with Savannah, who works as a banker but wants to get further up in the world of horse shows, and she wants to qualify for some shows that'll help her get to the next level. Well, the problem is every rider she sees is built like Barbie and she's plus size. And all she can think of herself anytime she looks in the mirror is, "Oh my god, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, I'm terrible." Well, she's about to meet somebody who's going to change her opinion of herself. In fact, she might have met him before had she not been so nervous. This book is called Second Chance at the Water Jump because Savannah's taking a jumping clinic to improve her riding. She's going to stay at this one retreat for a few days and improve on her show jumping. Well, hanging around the scene is this guy, Evan. Now, Savannah just about runs off when she sees Evan because she recognizes him. Her close friend arranged for the two of them to go on a date before. Only when Savannah got to the restaurant and saw Evan, she thought a hot guy like him is never going to go for a fat show like me. I'm not even going to sit down at the table. I'm just going to run for it. Now she's there like, I hope this guy doesn't recognize me. Of course he does. Making things even better, when Savannah takes her horse Tucker, who is an Irish sport horse, at a pinto, which is a bit unusual. Not the Irish sport horse part, they're pretty common at eventing shows, but you don't see a lot of pintos. So I like that he's unique. When they come to a water jump, he stops dead in his tracks and sends her flying right over his head. And of course, Evan gets that on film. She's not hurt thanks to her wearing her helmet. Although she does get a concussion, nothing serious, which another great message in this book. Please wear a helmet when you're riding, even if you're on the most gentle, calm horse ever. You never know when something can happen. So she's basically okay, and I gotta love her reaction to Tucker. She grabs him by the reins and she says, "You are not a good boy." And it's just so comical because he's been the worst horse ever in that moment, but she still loves him. I've had moments like that. Well, Evan makes sure she's okay, and they keep running into each other at these horse shows where he's a photographer. And because she works at a bank, she runs into him when he meets her needing a loan for his business, for his photography business, and he starts to bring her cookies and that, which I think is really sweet because she doesn't turn down the cookies like, "Oh my god, I'm fat, I shouldn't eat them." She actually does eat like a normal person. She's not consistently dieting, and I absolutely love that because I think she's starting to build confidence in herself. There's this one moment where one of her competitors at the horse show, who basically looks like a supermodel, they go to the food truck together at one of the shows, and she said, like, "Oh yeah, I've heard they've had really good salads here. You got to get that because you need that." And Savannah's like, "You know what? I'm ordering the fried chicken sandwich." And I love that her confidence grows as her time with Evan grows. And all the while that she's um, with him, she finally finds out he wanted to meet her even before this. They were both guests at a party before, and their mutual friend was there, and he went to the mutual friend and was like, "Oh, can you introduce me to that beautiful girl over there?" Only she was gone before they could meet then. So really, this was their third chance at getting together when that water jump was refused and she went flying. I really love the relationship that they have and the idea that in romance and in horse riding, you don't have to be a supermodel. Of course, you want to have a horse that's right for your body size, but he has a horse that's half Irish draft. He can easily carry her. That's what Irish sport horse is. Irish draft crossed with thoroughbred. So he has no problem carrying her. And the book even is like, yeah, the horse is a little bit on the heavy side himself. Yeah, my horse knows food is love, so I've been there. So I really love the way that this portrays someone who isn't your typical supermodel type person. And I think that a lot of people will find that message resonating with them. I think that any horse lover or romance lover will enjoy both these books. You don't have to be a horse lover to enjoy them, although I don't know why you'd be checking out my channel dedicated to horses if you're not, but you get the idea that these books are great even if you just are looking for a really good romance. I hope you'll check them out, and until next time, keep horses in your life. Happy Valentine's Day.